Ignition.
When nothing seems capable of overshadowing Starship launches anymore, SpaceX decided to outdo itself anyway, announcing a new Starship variant that will launch from the biggest rocket launch facility on Earth. No exaggeration here. Elon Musk recently tweeted, "Will enable over 2 million tons per year to orbit with Starship 4, a crucial step towards becoming a Kardashev 2-level civilization." This was a reply to an earlier tweet quoting his own post about Starbase Louisiana. Starbase Louisiana will ultimately have over a dozen launch towers, enabling more than 30 Starship flights per day and making it the biggest launch site on Earth. What this signals is easy to predict. A massive new launch site is coming, and the next, bigger, more powerful generation of Starship will make its very first flight from there. Genuinely thrilling stuff. Well, let's start with the ground, because everything else in this story is built on top of it, literally. SpaceX has just unveiled Starbase Louisiana, a spaceport planned near Pecan Island in Vermilion Parish, carrying a price tag north of $100 billion. Musk described the finished site as having more than a dozen launch towers, eventually enabling over 30 Starship flights per day. If that number holds, it would make this single facility the busiest launch site on the planet, full stop. The scale is hard to overstate. We're talking about roughly 125,000 to 130,000 acres of coastal land, more than 200 square miles, organized into 5 separate launch complexes, each with 2 pads, for 10 pads total to start. SpaceX's own description of the site reads less like a rocket pad and more like a small industrial city. On-site propellant production, dedicated power generation, deep water shipping capability for moving hardware in and out, vehicle processing facilities, and, reportedly, even its own airport. Construction is targeted to begin in 2027, with the first launch penciled in for as early as 2029. Why Louisiana, of all places? The answer is geography. Elon just tweeted, "It's a great location for a wide range of azimuths. Louisiana's Gulf Coast lets Starship launch southward, approximately 189 degrees azimuth, across open water towards sun-synchronous orbits, approximately 98 degrees inclination. Impossible cleanly from Florida, where southward paths would overfly Cuba. This unobstructed corridor supports high-cadence launches and reaches the sun-stable orbits needed for solar-powered orbital data centers and next-gen Starlink satellites." Now for the vehicle that's supposed to fill all those pads. Starship version 4, sometimes called Block 4, and in a recent tweet Elon Musk just wrote that Starship 4 is the next major evolution after the V3, currently flying test missions in 2026. And evolution undersells it a little. This is a genuine step up in almost every dimension that matters. Start with height. The current Block 3 stack stands at roughly 124.4 meters. Version 4 is expected to stretch to around 142 meters, with some configurations pushing close to 150. Picture 3 Statues of Liberty stacked directly on top of each other. That's roughly the scale we're discussing. None of Musk's tweets mention any increase in the rocket's diameter, so this growth is entirely about length, not girth. A longer upper stage designed to carry more propellant and greater payload volume. Then there's the engine count. Elon Musk tweeted last year, Starship V4 will have 42 engines when 3 more Raptors are added to a significantly longer ship. Total across both stages, 42 Raptor engines. The Super Heavy booster keeps its familiar 33-engine cluster, but the upper stage, the ship itself, grows from 6 engines to 9. 3 sea-level Raptors for landing, and 6 vacuum-optimized Raptors for efficient performance once it's coasting through space. Musk apparently couldn't resist noting that 42 is, as foretold in the prophecy, a nod to Douglas Adams that tells you exactly how confident this team feels about where the numbers landed. However, if SpaceX only increases the engine count on the ship, that means the Super Heavy booster will retain its original 33-engine configuration. Of course, this requires SpaceX to develop an engine with enough power to make that configuration viable, the Raptor 4. If the Raptor 4 produces 300 metric tons of thrust at sea level, then based on the thrust ratio observed between the Raptor 2 and Raptor 3, the vacuum-optimized Raptor 4 could produce around 320 metric tons. With the current configuration of 3 sea-level engines and 3 vacuum engines, the Starship upper stage would generate roughly 1,860 metric tons of thrust. If upgraded to 6 vacuum engines, the ship alone would produce around 2,820 metric tons of thrust. Those numbers exceed the total thrust of many launch vehicles currently in operation. Beyond raw power, Raptor 4 is also expected to bring further simplification compared with Raptor 3. This could include fewer potential failure points, improved durability, faster refurbishment, and an even stronger focus on full and rapid reusability. All of this could significantly reduce manufacturing costs, turnaround times, and operational complexity. Besides, combined liftoff thrust is targeted at roughly 10,000 metric tons, about 22 million pounds of force. For context, that's close to 3 times the thrust of the Saturn V, the rocket that took humans to the moon in the Apollo era. If version 4 flies as described, it will be, without much argument, the most powerful rocket ever built by our species. Fully reusable version 3 tops out around 100 tons to low Earth orbit. Version 4 is designed to roughly double that, delivering 200+ tons per flight in fully reusable mode. The tanker variant, the version that exists purely to refuel other starships in orbit, is expected to deliver more than 200 tons of propellant per trip, and the crewed variant reportedly offers more than 1,000 cubic meters of pressurized volume, which is roughly 10% more livable space than the entire International Space Station packed into a single vehicle. And as Elon Musk promised, the new Starship V4 could ultimately be capable of delivering 2 million metric tons of material into space every year. Let's do a little math. The really interesting part is that you don't have to take anyone's word for it. You can run the numbers yourself. Take Starbase Louisiana's target of 30 launches per day. Multiply that by 365 days a year, and you get roughly 10,950 launches per year. Now multiply that by the current version 3 payload capacity of around 150 metric tons per flight at the maximum capacity SpaceX has publicly stated, and you get approximately 1.64 million metric tons per year. Think about that for a moment. Using the current rocket, not some future version, simply operating Louisiana at its eventual full capacity already gets you remarkably close to 2 million metric tons per year. Add the nearly doubled payload capacity of version 4, even with a lower flight rate while the site is being upgraded, and the 2 million ton figure starts to look less like hype and more like straightforward mathematics. The math actually checks out, at least in theory. Still, while the numbers may sound reasonable, inspiring, and impressive, there are plenty of people who argue that Elon Musk's plan has significant weaknesses. Based on an animation video simulating the proposed launch tower layout at Louisiana, one ex-user argued that concentrating 12 launch complexes in a single area cannot simply be scaled up by multiplying the output of a single Falcon 9 launch pad by 12. Why? Because those 12 launch pads would share a much smaller number of fuel storage facilities, around 6 tanks, according to the current plan, along with shared transportation routes and vehicle loading and handling operations. Concentrating that much infrastructure in one location could actually create bottlenecks that distributed launch sites would avoid. 12 launch pads sharing 6 fuel storage facilities and a single loading pipeline present a completely different operational challenge from 12 launch pads spread across independent sites, each with its own supporting infrastructure. There's another question people are raising. If Starship's rapid reusability works as promised, why does the factory keep expanding? SpaceX's current production capabilities at Starbase, Texas, and Cape Canaveral have been described as almost absurdly large, reportedly capable of handling more than 24 vehicles simultaneously. If the core value of Starship is rapid reusability, then, in theory, you shouldn't need to keep building new factories just to keep up with the production of new rockets. Yet the released images appear to show a facility potentially 2 or even 3 times the combined capacity already available at other locations. So, what do you think about these conflicting opinions? Let me know in the comments. Your perspective might help challenge or even enlighten the way I and many others are thinking about this. Of course, with any massive project, opposition is inevitable. However, Elon Musk's mission and vision are much bigger than SpaceX itself. It all comes back to the Kardashev scale, a framework developed in the 1960s for measuring how advanced a civilization is based on the amount of energy it can harness. A Type 1 civilization uses all the energy available on its home planet. A Type 2 civilization harnesses the full energy output of its star, something comparable to a Dyson swarm or massive space-based solar infrastructure. A Type 3 civilization would control the energy of an entire galaxy. By most estimates, humanity today is only around 0.7 on the Kardashev scale. We haven't even mastered the energy resources of our own planet, let alone those of our star. Musk's argument is simple. You can't build star-scale energy infrastructure without first solving the problem of moving massive amounts of material into orbit cheaply and repeatedly. That's the entire chain of logic. Getting massive amounts of material into orbit enables the construction of megastructures. Megastructures allow us to capture enormous amounts of energy, and harnessing that energy is the practical meaning of becoming a Kardashev Type 2 civilization. According to Musk, any self-respecting civilization should be aiming for at least Type 2. But not everyone believes the Kardashev Type 2 concept is realistic, and some of the criticism comes from people who actually study the subject. Jason Wright, an astronomer at Penn State University who has spent years searching for signs of Dyson spheres around other stars, acknowledges that launching 1 million satellites would technically be a step in the right direction. But he is also quick to point out that such a step would still fall far short. Fully harnessing the energy of the sun, as a true Type 2 civilization would require, would demand more raw material than the entire asteroid belt contains. 1 million satellites might seem astonishing to us today, but compared with the scale of a true stellar energy civilization, that number would barely scratch the surface. Whether this is a realistic near-term goal or simply an idea far ahead of its time remains an ongoing debate within the scientific community. But either way, that doesn't make us any less excited about the next-generation Starship V4 and SpaceX's $100 billion spaceport.